Politics Radio Company is back with another edition of Interesting Ideas in these challenging times. And today, a question, a tough question. Here we go. Should my Jewish and Tesla owner friends start carrying a gun? I certainly hope not, but should it be? Let's talk about that today and the mess we're in. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan the Radio Man for an edition of Interesting Ideas, which will be slightly different going forward. And no fooling on this April Fool's Day. More and more, I'm discovering that more and more things are not going to work, but more and more things could possibly work. And it's going to be hard to sort all of that out. And hopefully I'll be able to, in my own life, as I've said in one of my prayers, hey, God, help me to sort things out and then sort me in. Give me the ability of all the things that are happening to sort out the stuff and then to find the slot. Sort and slot me into the place just right. Sort me out and slot me in. Think about that as kind of an affirmation for you, or a prayer if you do that. I think that might be helpful because 2025 is going to be a time of turbulence. It really is. It's going to be a time of real transitions, and it could be transforming, and it could be a bit tragic in some respects, because that's how life works. So here we go today. This is April Fool's Day, and I'm asking this question because things are difficult. Should my Jewish friends, and I have some friends who own a Tesla, should Jews and Tesla owners start to carry a gun? Well, I think you see where this is going, and this is not for a long expedition of thought. It's just very simply a realization that we are in trying times. In effect, the news of the day is telling us that Harvard now, as a result of their work, is being challenged just like Columbia was because they didn't give adequate protection to those who were Jewish. And we know that in the midst of the turbulent times that have come and gone and come again, a lot of the people of the Jewish tradition and persuasion, ethnicity, all of the things that might go into being Jewish, feel themselves threatened. And I oftentimes have reminded some of my friends in this subject area that many years ago when I was in Amsterdam, living and working there, and one of my regular trips was to take friends and visitors to the Anne Frank house, there were a number of years ago a protest movement that kind of centered around the Anne Frank house. And it was done by Jewish people. And of course, it wasn't anti-Anne Frank or it wasn't anti-Jewish, but the protest is let's remember that this doesn't need to happen again. And what their point is they said we should recognize that when this began to happen, we should have been ready. And that when those Gestapo agents started coming up, I walked that stairway there, which they would have walked up to capture the family there in the attic. If someone had met them with a gun and shot 2 or 3 of them as they came up, there's a very good chance, of course, that the Jewish people there are going to lose their life. Well, most of them did anyhow. And their argument was, if every Gestapo agent knew when he got up in the morning that 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of them are not coming home from work that day, things might have changed. And of course, there is the story of the Warsaw Ghetto, which did resist. And it was the German oppressors paid a terrible price for it because they took a lot of them down. But of course, eventually they overcame them. But it was an attempt to say we must fight back at every opportunity. And so my good Jewish friends, and they are peace-loving people. And for the most part, the Jewish people have always been peace-loving people. The idea of shalom, which is peace on earth and goodwill to all, is fundamental to the wish and the greetings of people in the Jewish tradition. But in the midst of the stuff that is happening, I'm sure some of them have wondered, like one of my friends said, who is a carrier in Arizona, and they have literally, you can open carry in Arizona, just like the old cowboys. You can not only carry a pistol, you can carry it openly, and you don't need a permit to do that. And so he said, I'm ready. And he pulled up his pants, and he's carrying what is called an ankle holster. And in that ankle holster, where all he has to do is go back down to his leg, he can pull out a loaded weapon. Well, the question is, have we come to the place where, hey, look at my background. And you were saying, well, when's he going to talk about that? This was given to me by a friend, and he said, Stan, just give it a try, because sometimes it's a story of the way life works. Drip, 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 both positively and negatively. That sometimes it's the drip, drip, drip that makes things go bad, and sometimes it is the drip, drip, drip of keep one at a time, little bit can make things better. It's kind of a symbol of good things to make and bad things that come. So I thought I'd give it a try today. So there we go. What do you think? I hope it doesn't have to come to that. But that is the predicament that is here until we find a way, and hopefully the law enforcement authorities will be able to get their positions together and their resources together, and that we can put an end to the fact is someone going to try and hurt me, maybe beat up on me, kill me, hurt me, and maybe take my car or wreck my car just because they don't like the car that I'm driving, or they don't like the person that I am. It's a matter of thought and concern. And I would be eager to hear some of your thoughts about this. Maybe some of your own personal stories about that. Have any of you been in situations where you felt it was necessary for you to carry a gun? And what was the situation? Did you ever have to use it in a way to defend yourself or to make sure that harm didn't come to you? None of us want to go back to the days where, in effect, the Wild West, and it was wild. Well, in effect, where a lot of people, that was what they did. They carried a gun, and there was a little bit of peace and harmony where in some of the better places, like even Tombstone was one of them, where if you walk into some saloons, they check your guns. You can't carry them around the saloon or something like that. What should we do with the new realities that are before us right now? Stan at witradio.net. Make it even simpler now. Stan at witradio.net. Stan the radio man, at WIT radio, all one word, .net, because we are a part of What It Takes Radio. We are here to help you get on the radio, do what it takes to have your own radio and television and broadcasting outreach for you, your business, and for the causes that you cherish and care about. Like one of my friends is doing a program where it's a way to help encourage people of the Jewish tradition to know how to deal with some of the difficulties that are now before them. And perhaps you have some ideas about that too. So again, reach out to me at stan@witradio.net. Now, actually, in this time of April, I'm going to be talking about the month I'm going to dedicate particularly to people who are looking for some career changes in life. They're starting out. We're going to be talking about how to sell and market yourself, perhaps to get a job, to get an interview, perhaps a way to start your own business, and then know that if you have your own business, you have to learn some of the sales and marketing to be able to sell your services and your products. Well, throughout the month of April, that is going to be one of our traditions because it's interesting ideas in time of turbulence. Yeah, you know, I remember I remember an airplane ride of 3 hours. And we were in turbulence most of the time. That is really a scary thing, but it was. And the pilot tried everything he could to find the safety, and he made it so we were certainly safe. But all the way from Minneapolis to Phoenix, we were always we were seat belts the whole time. Turbulence. Time of turbulence, of transitions, certainly. And we're not talking about the sexual means. We mean just simply things are changing and doing ways that are perhaps difficult or perhaps a little bit frightening, or maybe we can see a little bit of opportunity, but we don't know what to do. And maybe it's a time where there's going to be some significant opportunities for transformations in a positive and powerful way. That's it coming up. Please reach out to me. I can help you. I'm a world caring. I don't know if I'm a world class. I'm trying to be a world caring business performance coach, and I can help you with your life and business. And I've had over 45 some years being a broadcaster. And as I'm going to tell you tomorrow, that doesn't just mean I did a podcast or that I did radio programs. To be a broadcaster has a very unique and different sense of mind. It makes a lot of difference. I oftentimes say now that if you want to make it in the marketplace, you're going to have to learn how to be a broadcaster. You're going to have to learn to do what it is to be in front of the camera, behind the microphone. You're going to have to learn how to communicate that way, but you're going to have to learn how to think that way, how to be a world-class, world-caring, maybe world-changing broadcaster. We're going to start that tomorrow by simply asking the question, did he really want to have a job at Costco? Yep. Did he really want to have a job at Costco? That'll be our next reflection on interesting ideas. All the best and blessings and good things come to you. Till next time, I'm Stan the Radio Man. Bye for now.